and the head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers. Your 9th year as a head coach, Frank Vogel.
Yes.
Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, guys. How you doing?
We're doing great. We're having a lot of fun. We just had LeBron, and now we get you.
It's a big step down.
No,
Sorry for the drop-off here.
We're going this way. Coach, we know what it's like for the players. Big Game talked a lot about it, what this day feels like. For you, Lakers organization, here you are. What's it like for you?
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Every media day to start a season is exciting because you're full of enthusiasm and optimism about what you can be that year. But in particular for me, I feel so fortunate to be part of this organization at this time with the roster that we have and the abilities we have. This year, it's a higher ceiling than any team that I've been a part of. I'm loving living in Los Angeles, and there's just a little extra added excitement to this year's media day.
What can you share with us, your message to the team this morning when you addressed them before media day?
Well, it's really to block out the outside noise and the talk of expectations. We know what our ceiling is. We know we have the ability to reach the ultimate goal, but that we have to block all that out and we have to focus on the moment. We've got to focus on the work. We're never going to get to the playoffs. We're never going to succeed in the playoffs if we don't focus on our daily work. And that's going to be the message all year, is to remain in the moment through the ups and downs of the NBA season, build the necessary habits to have success in the playoffs.
Speaking of moments, I love the moment you had with Dave McMenamin when addressing the media. I thought you were going to give away your starting lineup.
Fun with you.
We loved it, and I know a lot of questions.
I had the pen ready. I was like,
you did. Is about this roster, what it's going to look like, rotations, etc. But I want to know about your staff, and I know you're excited about how things have come together. What's been the focal point for you guys so far?
Well, we're having fun. The chemistry, the staff chemistry, which is, to me, every bit as important as your team chemistry. If you're not together as a coaching staff, your team's not going to be together. The chemistry of our staff is off to a great start. We've had a fun coaching retreat. We had, some good dinners in Vegas while they were having the little voluntary mini camp last week. And we've really rolled our sleeves up and dug into all the strengths and weaknesses of our players and our roster and talked about the plan. And, when you have so many new people together, some could view that as a negative, that it's going to take time for us to gel. I really view it as a positive. I've really picked up a lot of things and learned a lot of things that, if I was only with the same assistant coaches all these years, I wouldn't have picked up. So, there's been a lot of sharing of ideas, and we've really put together what I think is a very solid and exciting plan for our group.
Yeah, communication is key, especially when you have so many personalities. It used to be a time when a coach could choke you, spit on you, holler at you, kick you in the butt.
God, I miss those days.
Do all those things back in the day. How challenging is it now to communicate? You got 12 different personalities you got to deal with. Got one unit, but you got to deal with. How easy is it, or difficult is it these days?
Yeah, it's, for me, I've only known my approach. Obviously I got into coaching under Rick Pitino 20-some years ago, and things are a little bit different then, and that was, there was a college environment. He was with the NBA. For me, I fell into a comfort zone very quickly when I took over with the Indiana Pacers, about coaching within my personality, being positive, being enthusiastic, bringing energy to the group each day, and really showing belief in my players. That's one of the staples of my approach is, my personality, quite frankly, is I tend to see the positive in people and in players more than the negative. And, when you're highlighting those things and showing them what they can accomplish if they put their mind to it, players can achieve great things. So, my focus has really been on that, is more than what you used to be able to do. And, hopefully we have success with that approach here.
Did you used to watch Big Game? Go at the Sixers
course.
back
in
in the day?
We're just talking about it. I'd stay up, I had a TV in my room, but I'd try to stay up past bedtime, watch the NBA Finals, and, my team, the 76ers growing up, was competing. You had to get past the Celtics, and once you got past the Celtics, then it was like really cool because we're playing the Lakers now, and the games are at 10 o'clock. Why the game's so late? Because of the time change. I was a young kid. I didn't know about all that. And so great times and great memories for me back then. And it's an honor for me to be up here with you, Big Game James.
Get those Betamaxes out.
Yeah.
VHSs.
Take fans and all the media through what these first few days looks like of camp. You guys are going to China, so you have to get ready. When can you start full contact? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, well, you can have 2-a-days for the first X amount of days. I don't like to overdo it with that. We'll have a schedule of, double session, single session, double session, single session off, right? And then, when you have 2 practices in one day, the second practice cannot be contact. So, but there's still a lot you can accomplish in those practices, implementing offensive sets, getting some shooting in, and some conditioning as well. You can run them a little bit and do some full court shooting drills and whatnot. So we'll get a lot accomplished in those sessions.
Listening to you and Rob Pelinka start things off, though you have 2 superstars and 2 of the best in the game, I continue to love your approach of being together and making sure it's about the entire team. With that said, how much or in what way do you feel like you guys have made the most strides, given camp is tomorrow, this past summer, and working to come together?
Well, I think, there was a lot of work in the off season, with guys coming in and just getting familiar with their skill set, having them work with our coaches, as much as possible doing 3-on-3 stuff, within the September time frame and in August. The individual meetings, you have a breakfast with a guy, lunch with a guy, dinners, those types of things just help everyone get familiar with each other. And, it's the right approach. No great player, no matter how great they are, can do it on their own. The role players are going to play an equally as important role for our team. We've got to become a team-first type of team if we're going to reach the ultimate goal. And, the seeds are planted. We're off to a great start with that.
Coach, what can you share with us? And I know you addressed the media about Kyle Kuzma as well, but just in terms of that timeline and the approach you guys are taking with him.
Well, we're going to be cautious and intelligent with it. It's a long season, 82 games, and then plus hopefully we're in position for a deep playoff run. So, we're not going to, overreact to what September and early October looks like. We're going to be smart about it, let him heal the proper way, get him back to 100%, and then we'll work him in when he's ready.
By the way, are you ready for the coach's challenge? You get one challenge. Oh, I'm sorry. Jump in there.
You got it. You got it. You're a team too. You got it.
They get one challenge.
Yeah.
Per game.
Sounds like you're challenging him on who got to ask the question.
By the way, usually I would look, and you know what?
This is all season long, by the way. I'm just a referee.
I watch you guys.
I'm just a referee.
And he's got a cane now. So
He's got a cane, so we better seriously. But yeah, so you get one challenge per game. I mean, are you watching like the football coaches just to
I'm
see how
a big NFL football fan, so I'm familiar with the process. It's going to be new and different and a little uncomfortable in some ways for people about what exactly can be challenged. The head coaches meetings, we ironed a lot of that stuff out because it's not perfect yet.
It's only a foul on your player.
Right, it's got to be a foul on your player. I haven't reviewed the rules in a week or two, but it's got to happen on a whistle. That's the thing that I think fans need to understand is that a no call. Your player goes into the basket, gets hammered, and they don't blow the whistle and the ball's going the other end. You cannot challenge that.
That would be amazing if you could just walk on the floor and just fire a flag.
Stop a fast break.
Throw your whiteboard.
Stop the break. Yeah, it's so there's a lot to be ironed out about secondary action within the foul that you challenged being reviewable. But the league does a great job with really just drawing lines with what is reviewable, what's not, and what can be challenged.
I was just saying, AD's going to be here a little later. Do you want us to tell him he's playing the 5 at the end of games, or have you guys?
We've
already
talked
had
about
that. Okay.
He's fully prepared and excited. He knows what that lineup is going to look like for the rest of the league. It's going to be lethal, and we just want to be smart with that and not overdo it.
What did you?
No, right.
What did change when you have Anthony Davis, you got JaVale McGee, and at one point it was DeMarcus before that injury, but now it's Dwight Howard. How different does he make things look for you guys defensively?
Well, yeah, we have 3 of the best rim protectors in the entire league on our team. And the challenge for me is how am I going to put them around the basket as much as possible defensively in a 5-out NBA. Where centers shoot threes on a regular basis, and they're not spaced in the dunker spot like they used to be. They're spaced at the top of the key in a strong side corner. It's more difficult to camp a Roy Hibbert out, for my Indiana's teams around the basket, full time. So we're gonna be creative with our defensive scheme, and make sure that we're not wasting their talents by chasing around the perimeter too much, although it will be needed some. And hopefully we can accomplish that and be the best paint defense and rim protection defense in the league.
So much talk about getting that elite player. We got Anthony Davis, but I tell you, I'm really excited about the supporting cast that you brought in as well. The Greens, the Quinns, the Bucks, the guys like that. And the guys we already had, some guys like Pope, McGee. I'm really excited about that supporting cast, because when the starters are out, to sustain that, I've never been excited about the supporting cast that we have this year, man.
Yeah, really, I couldn't be more excited about it. It's about shooting, experience, and two-way players.
Yeah.
And look, there was a challenge in putting this roster together. When the free agency thing was playing out, and we had to wait a few days for some decisions to be made. And once Kawhi chose to go to the Clippers, that was an intense day for our organization, probably the most of the summer. And I think we hit it out of the park.
Yes.
With the signing of Rondo and Avery Bradley, and the supporting cast that we put around those guys with Danny Green. Just the number of shooters that we have on this team is far better than what we had last year. Far better, quite frankly, than any team that I've ever had. And those guys are going to be asked to star in their roles. We know who our two pillars are of our franchise, but those guys are every bit as important.
Coach, we appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
We will be bothering you every single
Hope you're ready for it.
anytime. Just give me a call. I'll be right on for you.
Are we able to ask at shoot around what the lineup is that night, or should we steer away from that?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, you can't ask that shoot around. I'm not one of those coaches that tricks the other team.
Okay.
Like, hey, this is what we got. Do your best.
That's a
good
nice
luck.
position
Good luck
to
with
be
this
in.
lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what that means?
Very nice.
80
Lakers
degrees in
good.
January, baby.
That's right. I love it.
All right.
All right, appreciate it, Coach Vogel.